think in the Chamomile, Ellen really wants to find herself, and she's exploring different ways to find herself. She clearly has had the courage to try to write. She realises she's not a musician. She's never going to be a top musician. But she's got this sense that she really could write. Only her mother had been a writer and I think had had mental illness. And that was very much frowned upon. And she had to struggle to write. And of course, women didn't have a very high reputation as writers at that time. It was the men who were striding the stage. So she had to be brave and do that. And then she had to go on her own way. She rented a room, as Carswell herself did several years before. Virginia Woolf wrote A Room of One's Own. And she took the room so that she could actually write undisturbed and unregarded. Nobody knew what she was doing. So Catherine sent lots of drafts of her first book, Open the Door, to Lawrence, and he would send them back saying, "You've a beastly style, you'll just have to write it all over again." And then he would say, "But all of it's marvellously good." So Lawrence was as contradictory as Carswell. Anyway, the Open the Door was published, as we know, to great acclaim. It won the Melrose Prize for Fiction. And I think in that book she was perhaps it was very much life writing, as a lot of women's writing at the beginning of the century was life writing. And I think she was perhaps trying to understand what had happened to her, how she had lived in the way she had. But the second book, The Chamomile, was published 2 years later, in 1922. It didn't have such a good reception as Open the Door. Although some of the reviews I have seen were quite interesting. Some people found it more compact. I think one of the exciting things about both Open the Door and The Chamomile is that they are both splendid Glasgow novels. Alistair Gray, in his Lanark, as one of his characters, say, well, Glasgow really doesn't exist for them because it's never been imagined. Certainly not in an imaginative way that would take you outside Glasgow, but I think that is not the case because Glasgow has appeared in fiction, but I think Carswell is probably the earliest person in kind of our modern times who's actually brought the city alive. And there is more actual landscape, I think, or cityscape in Open the Door, in the sense that she travels through the park and up to the university and down, the steps and just round Sauchiehall Street. The whole city comes alive. There's perhaps not quite so much of that kind of spectacular cityscape in The Chamomile, but it is still there too.